More people are being reported dead following the onslaught of Typhoon Odette. Over 1 million more doses of donated COVID-19 vaccine arrive in the Philippines. And ferry boats carry this year's MMF entries in its first ever fluvial parade. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. Typhoon Odette has left a trail of destruction in some parts of Visayas and Mindanao, and several areas are still reeling in darkness with both the power and communication lines toppled. Now, to give us more insights on the destruction brought about by the typhoon, we have NDRRMC spokesperson Mr. Mark Timbal is joining us over the phone. Mr. Timbal, good evening.
Ms. Riza, good evening, and to all our viewers, good evening to all.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Sir, would like to know what is the latest numbers when it comes to the fatalities and casualties brought by Odette?
Yes, so far here at the Operation Center of the NDRRMC, we're continuing the monitoring and consolidation of all reports being submitted to us by our counterparts in the local government disaster management offices. So far, we have not yet we are still updating the number of casualties, but as of the earlier reporting today, we are still at 31 reported casualties, with four of which had been confirmed. But we have been receiving information coming from our counterparts in Region 7, covering Cebu, Bohol, and we are still looking into these details as of this time, and maybe later tonight we will be publishing adjusted counts for the casualties. We are also informing the public that there are some numbers being floated through social media, not from official sources. So we have to be very careful in sharing those numbers so that we will not add to the worries of our countrymen. But so far here at the NDRMC, we're still at 31, and we're still consolidating the data. Other information relative to our operations, Ms. Riza, we were able to get information that there are more than 427,000 people staying in evacuation centers after Odette. We are using 2,861 evacuation centers to house these evacuees, while a good number also decided not to stay in evacuation centers but with their relatives in other places. That amounted to 60,560 persons coming from various regions, the Mimaropa, Region 5, 6, 7, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, the Caraga, and the Bangsamoro. We also received information of 3 injured persons and 1 missing person as a consequence of Odette. We also received information that 227 cities and municipalities have experienced power interruption, of which 21 had been already restored as of today. Our counterparts in the power sector, led by the Department of Energy in cooperation with the NGCP, the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, and our local power cooperatives, have committed to work around the clock to speed up the restoration process for the power services. We were also informed that our counterparts in the telecommunications sector have also sent out teams to fast-track the restoration of mobile communications in the various areas that had been affected by the storm. We received information as well that the stranded passengers in the various ports affected by Odette had started either to go home or to continue their voyages, but we still have 1,678 stranded passengers. A total of 80 ports were reported non-operational because of Odette, However, 46 of those have already resumed operations in Bicol region as well as in Mimaropa. We also received information of 3,783 houses having been damaged by Odette in Mimaropa, Region 6, Region 10, Region 11, Caraga, and the Bangsamoro, Ms. Riza.
Sir Mark, do we have figures as to the initial assessment, perhaps, on the damage to infrastructure and agriculture brought about by the typhoon?
So far, this data is still being consolidated tonight at the operation center. What's happening now, Ms. Riza, is that there is that standing instruction that the focus of all operations should be to provide relief and assistance to all our populations that has been affected by the storm. As of this afternoon, a number of ships had disembarked from the Philippine Coast Guard to assist in the provision of the relief items in various areas, as well as to help the stranded tourists and visitors, guests in Siargao. And this is a continuing effort by the said agency. We also have received reports of the President going to various locations, not simply to inspect, but also to provide relief assistance, to drop various family food packs, an X amount of family food packs to assist the local government units in their relief efforts. This damage details for agriculture and infrastructure hopefully will be reported tonight, and then we'll be able to send out the details to our media counterparts tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Sir Mark, as always, for sharing with us your time and all those information. That's NDRRMC spokesperson, Mr. Mark Timbal. Now let's check on the areas that are badly hit by Typhoon Odette. Establishments, including residential areas in Surigao City, were destroyed by the onslaught of Typhoon Odette. Some roads leading to the city are still blocked due to landslides and uprooted trees. Power and communication lines are also down, causing difficulty for the local government to consolidate information on the extent of the typhoon's damage. Now, over in Ubay, Bohol, 11 were reported dead so far following the destruction of Typhoon Odette. Mayor Constantino Reyes says most of the fatalities drowned or were crushed by falling debris. Now, Reyes estimates that about 80% of the residential areas have been leveled to the ground. Dinagat Islands, meanwhile, reported around 90% damage in its capital municipality due to the typhoon. In an interview here on One News, Dinagat Island spokesperson Jeff Crisostomo said they are already seeking help from neighboring provinces. Crisostomo also appealed to the national government and private organizations to extend assistance. And the Cebu City LGU will allocate up to 1 billion pesos for those affected by Typhoon Odette. Vice Mayor Dondon Ontiveros says the funds are for the city's relief operations, disaster response, and other needs of its residents. The initial budget of Cebu City was raised from 300 million to 1 billion due to the severe damage brought by the typhoon. Now, in other news, over 1 million doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine arrived in the country from Germany earlier today. Some 535,000 more jabs of the same brand will be delivered at around 10 o'clock in the evening to complete the latest batch of donated shots. Meanwhile, over 663,400 AstraZeneca jabs procured by the private sector have also arrived at the NAIA earlier tonight. So far, the Philippine government has already administered over 100 million COVID-19 vaccines doses since March. Now it's now getting buzz at Metro Manila terminals as more people rush to catch a bus ride going to their provinces for the holidays. Camille Samonte with the report.
Thank you greeted several passengers at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange on Sunday. More people are going home to their provinces for the holidays. Some trips going to Bicol and Camarines Sur are already fully booked. Still, some passengers are staying there for hours in hopes of getting tickets.
Medyo mahirap po kasi, gaya nito, uwing-uwi na, gustong-gusto na ako, may excited na, tapos daming pila. Tiis-tiis na lang din po. Hanggang bukas na po, baka ano pa kami dito, baka 24 hours pa kami dito.
Medyo na-hassle po kami kasi kahapon po kami dito, bumalik lang po kami ngayon. Nagbaka sakali kaming makakuha ng ticket, yun naman, pinalad kami. Kami ay nakakuha ng ticket ngayon para makauwi kami.
Some passengers booked their tickets in advance to avoid the hassle.
Kasi po pag abutin pa ng 23, masyadong pila na eh.
The PITX management said the foot traffic at the terminal has reached more than 100,000 this weekend. They expect this number to increase further as the Christmas day nears. The situation over at the Araneta bus station, meanwhile, is very different, with the routes only limited to Pampanga, Bulacan, and Tarlac. Only a few passengers were seen going home to their provinces. Some are complaining of the limited routes.
Ang hirap po, katulad po ngayon, magkakating po ako. Dapat po sana, diretso na po yung sakay ko. Hanggang biyahe pong Baguio or Ilocos po. Mas maganda po yung dati, wala pang pandemic. Isang sakayan lang po.
Sasakay po ng ma'am, biyaheng Bicol. Kala ko meron pa dito na kasi dati meron dito eh. Mapapalayo pa eh. Pupunta pa ng PTX, medyo mapalayo pa.
Authorities remind passengers to check the requirements needed in their destination prior to their travel. They also advise them to book their tickets in advance. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Now, this year's Metro Manila Film Festival Parade of Stars pushed through despite the rainy weather in the capital. For the first time, the MMFF organized a fluvial parade with ferry boats carrying celebrities and displays of film entries along the Pasig River. The event was supposed to start at 2 in the afternoon today, but the rain delayed the parade. Nonetheless, spectators still waited outside the Guadalupe Ferry Station, hoping to catch the arrival of their favorite stars. This year's MMFF will open on Christmas Day and will run until January 8. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.